I'm from Indiana, but I'm a Red Sox fan.
And I'm from Minnesota, but I'm a Yankees fan.
And welcome to the Rivalry out of state, our baseball series here on the Running the Table podcast, where we run through everything in the MLB, including the Red Sox and Yankees. I'm Drew Westland alongside me, as always, Andrew Sinicariello. And Andrew, our last video, we went over what was wrong with the Yankees offense, and we hinted at a Yankees pitcher that's been having some troubles. And I remember you said this quote after not yesterday's game, but the game before that. And that was Gerrit Cole is done because Gerrit Cole had an absolutely horrendous start, the shortest of his career against the Tigers, and he hasn't been good at all. So we're going to run through what is wrong with Gerrit Cole.
Yeah. And by the way, I'll just say right away, I hope I'm wrong in saying that. I'll just say that right now.
Well, for your sake and for reasons we're going to cover in this video, you better be. But are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's run it.
All right. So Gerrit Cole, the ace of the Yankees pitching staff, has stunk, been horrendous to start the 2022 season. So what the heck is happening? Through 3 starts, he has not yet recorded a decision. He's 0-0, and in 11 of the third innings pitched, 9 hits, 8 earned runs, 3 dingers allowed, 12 strikeouts, 7 walks, a 6.35 ERA, a 6.49 FIP, a 1.41 WHIP, and a 61 ERA plus, where 100 is league average. Anything above that is better. Anything below that is worse. So not a great start to Gerrit Cole's 2022 campaign.
Yeah, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I don't know what version of Gerrit Cole I've been watching this season, but it is not the Gerrit Cole that I saw in 2020 and 2021 with the Yankees.
Yeah, especially after what both you and I said about Gerrit Cole in the MLB awards predictions video, where I predicted that Cole would be a Cy Young finalist. You said that he'd win the Cy Young outright. We have not seen that at all. We have seen the furthest thing from a pitcher who has finished the top 5 in AL Cy Young every season since 2018. He has looked like the Yankees' worst starter so far, by far. It's really not even close.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the pitching's the strength of the Yankees, and it doesn't make any sense at all for me to say that Gerrit Cole so far is the worst pitcher on the Yankees for this season. And yeah, we'll get into reasons why later, but it's just so bizarre seeing this from Gerrit Cole. And I really hope he can turn it around here. But I guess now we'll talk about reasons why we think this is happening or talk about how we got here.
Yeah, it's really weird to say that about Gerrit Cole because of how prolific he's been over the last 4 seasons and whatnot, ever since he was traded to the Astros in 2018. But let's take a look at what he's done so far. And this goes all the way back to the AL wildcard game last year, where that was Gerrit Cole's last 2021 outing, where at Fenway Park, he only lasted 2 innings. He gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 3, allowed 2 walks, and gave up 2 home runs. A bomb to Xander Bogaerts and a bomb to Kyle Schwarber. Now, granted, he was pitching with the bad hamstring for, this, that, or the other. He didn't really look like himself, but this was a start of things to come. It carried over into this season. And opening day, he did not look sharp. Again, against the Boston Red Sox, this time in Yankee Stadium. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, a walk, and a home run given up. That bomb to Rafael Devers. You think, oh, he's going to shake it off. His next outing against the Blue Jays, April 13th, 5 2/3, which is his longest start of the year so far. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, a walk, and 2 dingers given up. Right. So you see improvement from start 1 to start 2. And then against the Tigers in Detroit, it absolutely fell apart. It was the shortest outing of Gerrit Cole's career, where he went an inning and 2/3, only allowed a hit, but he allowed 2 earned runs, struck out 3. He walked 5 batters, which ties a career high. And in this one, he didn't give up any homers, but he was yanked after throwing 68 pitches, only 37 strikes. And I think after getting, the hook from Boone, this was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back. And we'll get a little bit more into this last start at Detroit because it's really the one that it's the reason we're making this video.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember turning on the TV for opening day, 4-pitch walk, home run on the next pitch. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this again. I Look, I'll be a little bit optimistic about that start. He was pretty good after that rough first inning. He shut out the side after that, but yeah, it's concerning when you give up a home run, the second guy at bat. And then yeah, his walks on Tuesday, that's something I've never seen before from him.
Well, it's
And the
something that
fact
Gerrit
that
Cole's never seen in his career. He has
yeah,
never
so
gone that short and he has never been that bad. I mean, if you want to go more in depth into how that start went, the first inning, he had a very solid inning. He struck out the side, but when he came out for the second, 4 of his 5 walks came in that inning, including walking the bases loaded twice and walking in a run. So one of his earned runs that inning, the first, came off of a walk. The other came off of a sac fly where Joey Gallo had a chance to double him up, but the throw went way, way up the line. Just a very uncharacteristic start for Gerrit Cole. Like in the post-game interviews that I listened to, they asked Gerrit Cole what his thought process was coming off the mound, and he said, a lot of 4-letter words. And I'm thinking, yeah, I guess so. If you're going to
yeah.
pitch that poorly under such expectations.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd probably say the same thing if I was in his footsteps, to be fair. But yeah, when you give up that many walks in a row, there's got to be just something just something mentally that's not there. Like everyone has their slumps, and I think that might have played a role into why he was struggling in Detroit. I get it was cold, and that oftentimes makes it harder for some pitchers if they want to do a pitch. Like he didn't throw a slider at all, or really harder to grip the ball in Detroit in
Yeah,
April. But
you mentioned the
yeah, I
weather.
mean,
There's only 43 degrees at the time, not throwing that slider. It is one of his better pitches. And when you're forced to adjust, he wasn't locating the fastball. The velocity was fine. He was averaging 98. He topped out at 99.3. The fastball velo was there, but he could not locate to save his life. And when you almost ditch the slider in favor of a cutter and changeup that may not be nearly as effective, it's either something mentally or just not being able to make the adjustments. I mean, he seemed relatively positive considering how the start went in the post-game interview. He didn't use the cold as a crutch, which is really, really good. And I just want to bring up one more funny thing from that start. On the Angels broadcast later, they reported that Gerrit Cole promised donating 600 MacBooks to an underprivileged school in New York if he lasted more than 2 innings in that game. And he lasted an inning and 2/3. So no MacBooks for the underprivileged New Yorkers.
or so they thought.
He got fucking porched.
He got porched.
He got porched. Now, you have porched me before, so I don't
Yes, I have. Oh no, you
nearly
did. You did it to yourself.
You know what? Hey, if it's able to get an Angels broadcast, like a professional Major League Baseball broadcast, I don't feel nearly as bad. But at least we're able to laugh a little bit about Gerrit Cole's start, but it just wasn't good. And the next thing that I want to look at about Gerrit Cole, given the way he's been pitching, it's because of the expectations why this is so bad, mainly the contract. We're talking about the contract now. When Gerrit Cole was signed to the New York Yankees, he was signed to a 9-year, $324 million contract. It was the highest paid contract on a year-to-year basis for a pitcher at the time of signing. It is still the most guaranteed money to a pitcher ever, and it's only the second highest paid now, year-to-year value. It's only been topped by Max Scherzer, $36 million a year for Gerrit Cole. He's in the third year of a 9-year contract. He's under contract with the Yankees until 2028. That is his age 37 season. And here's the kicker. Unlike football, where in the NFL, you can restructure contracts, move money around, like move money into signing bonuses and whatnot, in baseball, all $324 million of Gerrit Cole's contract is guaranteed, meaning it don't just disappear. That's there. So given how he's thrown, it begs the question, did the Yankees screw up?
Yes, but there's more to say. There have been many Yankees fans when he was first signed saying, "Oh, I'm so excited, Gerrit Cole." I was one of those fans. But
Everybody was
there,
saying that, Andrew.
yeah.
Even I
Hey,
was like, nobody thought that signing Gerrit Cole to that deal, the Yankees needed an ace at the time. They weren't just going to roll with Masahiro Tanaka and call it a day. They needed an ace. They went and got him. They shelled out the dollars to do so because they're the New York Yankees and they can do so. We talked about making a splash in the last video. They made a splash with Gerrit Cole. Nobody was mad about it. But now opinions have
yeah,
changed.
I was gonna say there were some people back in 2020 that were kind of begging the question. It was like, do we do too much, guys? And as of right now, it's starting to look like the answer is yes. And I hate saying it, but you point out he's going to be a Yankee until 2028 when he's 37. And I have to ask, did we see the peak of Gerrit Cole already? Did he have an early peak and he's starting to fall off? Are we going to have to live with that for the next 6 years?
And here's the thing. You say he'll be a Yankee until the 2028, right? But you can say, oh, you'll never know what the future holds. The future's unpredictable. If Gerrit Cole keeps pitching the way he's pitching, we do know that he'll be a Yankee until 2028 because that is too much money to release him outright if it does get that bad. And if it does get that bad, nobody's going to want to trade for him. That contract will be an albatross of all albatrosses, one of the biggest screw ups in free agent history of all time. But that's a little bit extreme. So let me pump the brakes. It's just to say for how much money they gave him. If the wheels do fall off the Cole train and it's broken beyond repair, the Yankees are stuck with him. It's
Yeah.
like a way worse version of the contract you guys gave Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah, no, that's a great comparison right there. Actually, yeah, that or like the Orioles with Chris Davis, just one of those kind of contracts where it's like, yeah, sure, he gave us a nice couple of seasons, but if he's going to stink it up the next 6 years, we failed massively. And it's like, guys, like, look, remember what I said in the last video, wanted to see us make a splash, but maybe we won't be doing that anymore if this doesn't pan out like we wish it had. Because that would be like, oh, we messed up this time. Or we're just not going to do that again. Yeah, this is why I can't even get the right words out. It's just not a good look
I think what
for
the
the
Yankees are
Yankees.
learning is that throwing money at everything that moves sounds like a great deal. And because they're the Yankees, they have the ability to, but should they? Like it's a we can, but is it really the best thing for the Yankees long term? And just going back to Gerrit Cole's statistics, like you look, it's only 3 starts. He'll probably have about 28, 29 more this season if he stays healthy. So there's a lot of time to right the ship. But like compared to last year, all of his statistics are just in the wrong direction and not even like just the major, great statistics that everybody knows. Even the sabermetrics, like he's like people are getting on base more. They're hitting for a higher slugging percentage. The OPS is obviously ballooned. The strikeouts are down, home runs are up, walks are up, exit velos up, hard hit percentage is up, line drive percentage is up. But here's the one thing that I really want to center on. Batting average on balls in play is down. It's at around the 220 mark, which means he's getting lucky on balls in play. There is luck on Gerrit Cole's side when you look at that statistic. And he's pitching that bad and he's getting lucky with the balls in play in the field. You know, there's hope that he can turn it around. I hope for Gerrit Cole's sake that he turns it around. It is not looking good at all.
Yeah. I think the true red flag was when Manfred banned the spider tack last season. I have to say it. There's no way I can deny it.
We
I
didn't want to
remember
talk about the spider tack.
I kind of have to, though.
We don't want to beat that dead horse any more than it's already been beaten, but hey,
I have to at least mention it. Just
got to
how
at
just
least run
watching
back
him,
to that dead horse and kick it one more time.
just as a Yankees fan, watching Gerrit Cole from last year. I remember last year he was looking like he was going to win the Cy Young by a
Runner up to
mile.
the Cy Young.
Then come June, the ban comes into place and he just started. He wasn't as good. I'll just say that. He was still good, but he wasn't as good. And that's why he ultimately lost to Robbie Ray. And so I was like, he'll get the off season. He'll have more time to practice without it, I would think. And so far, it just hasn't panned out. I was really thinking we could get the Gerrit Cole we saw from last year, but so far, it's been about as far from that as you can get. And it's just really sad and disappointing to see, I gotta say.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head for a pitcher whose track record was so good in years past, who has been paid like it, who's been paid to be an ace, whose expectations are so sky high in arguably the biggest market and biggest brand name in baseball. And it hasn't crashed and burned yet. It's still super early, but all of the red flags are just popping up left and right. And it's just disappointing. So as we do with these what's wrong with videos, we got to ask the question to wrap this up. How do we fix it? How does Gerrit Cole get back on track?
I honestly don't even know how to answer that. I feel like that's something he's got to
Really?
figure out
Kind of like how
himself.
Gerrit Cole answered the questions about the spider tack?
Hey, I'm not Gerrit Cole. I can't figure out Gerrit Cole's problems. That's something he has to figure out for himself. I don't know, talk to Matt Blake, see if he has a trick up his sleeve that might help him out. I don't know.
I mean, watching the start against the Tigers and just seeing like the location was off in the cold, he has a lot of time to figure it out. Like his fastball velocity is fine if he can get his control under. Like we know he has it in him. He struck out the side in the first inning of the Tigers start. He just kind of has to keep the train on the tracks, the Cole train on the tracks for as long as possible in the start. And honestly, there's really nowhere to go but up coming from his last start. So
Yeah, that's true. I guess one more thing to mention, because I was talking about it in his debut against the Red Sox this season, and you just mentioned it, how he struck out the side in the first inning. It almost seems like in his starts, he has a switch. Either he's rolling on the tracks or he's crashing off the tracks. Just got to make sure he doesn't flip the switch. I guess that's what I got to say. Because it seems like every start he's had two versions of him pitching. We just need to have the better version. Clear and simple as that. How he can do that, I don't know. I'm not a pitcher. I'm not Gerrit Cole. But
yeah,
I hope it's something he can figure out.
whether it's something in his head, because pitching is a lot of, in between the ears, whether it's a small, tiny mechanical tweak, whether it's just figuring out how to get his stuff to play off of each other like they did, there is a long, long season ahead of us. And Granted, there have been other aces that have thrown up some stinkers. I'm looking at you, Zach Wheeler, Robbie Ray, Brandon Woodruff, Julio Urias, and you, Darvish, who have all been bad and disappointing at one time or another. But because it's Gerrit Cole, because it's the Yankees, because he's been paid so much, because of the track record, and quite frankly, because you're a Yankees fan, Andrew, we're making a "What's Wrong with Gerrit Cole" video. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think we got it. Like I said, with that last point, just flip the switch to on and just keep that train rolling. That's all you got to do.
That's all we got for the "What's Wrong with Gerrit Cole" video. We've been taking a look at what's wrong with, a lot of the Yankees. We took a look at the offense. Now we're taking a look at their ace pitcher, and we have had a lot of stuff to do in this early going of the season for this 2022 MLB year, and we'll have a lot more planned on the Rivalry out of state. So if you like our stuff, go watch some more of it here on the Running the Table podcast. We got lots of sports content for you, baseball or otherwise. But like and subscribe, and until next time, we out.